Hi everyone. I want to talk in this video. By the way, it's been quite a while that I've made a new video. So yeah, how are you guys doing? As you can see, I'm driving now. So yeah, maybe I will share later on personally, like what I really feel or think. As always, this video is going to be very spontaneous. Okay, so there is no pre-written script or anything. Basically I'm just sharing and talking. But the thing that I want to talk, actually, there is just this one thing that is I already actually kind of thought about it since like maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I want to actually combine it together with what I've just now when I've chat with AI. I especially use a DeepSeek, and I've been having a long and deep chat conversation with AI, about the existential stuff and things like that, philosophical existential stuff. Anyway, so yeah, in this video I want to talk specifically again and again about still the same, kind of like a theme in this hold on, let me put the chair, the seat. Kind of the theme of it now become a theme of my YouTube channel, probably one of the biggest, most important main theme. So it's about what? Can you guess? It's about reality versus imagination. It's about reality versus imagination. Okay. But in this video I want to talk specifically about this. This is also talking about life, of course, life. The reason this channel is very honest, very truthful. Okay, I don't want to sugarcoat with all this toxic positivity, optimism bias, and all those normal platitudes, empty platitudes. Okay, so I just cut through to the straight right to the point. Basically, brutally real, honest, speaking the truth, telling the truth. Okay, and about the reality. So what I want to talk in this video is basically about one of the reasons that I hate life, is because I've talked about this also in my previous videos, some time ago. I'm talking about the quote unquote the reality versus imagination problem. Okay, which is, I think, it can be, even AI agree, it's a deep and a human problem, because only us have this, right? Animals, plants, as far as we know, don't have this problem, right? It's basically a human consciousness problem too. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to make it not long, because the place that I want to go is not very far actually. So when I stop driving, this video should be finished actually. So yeah, basically, to make it short, hopefully, what I hate about this life is this. Have you ever feeling like, life could be so much more. Life have so much wonder, possibilities, right? But and then the reality is very, very limited. Sorry if my English is not good. English is not my first language. As I've already told you. even you, I have already told you actually about my, nationality actually in my previous video, right? So but basically what I'm trying to say is this, we are so limited by reality, by our own life circumstance, our own life situations, our problems, our everyday problems. And mostly, when we're talking practically, it's all about money, right? It's about survival, right? Even me, right now, I want to share a little bit personally. Even me, right now, even though I've lived quite a kind of quote unquote quite a privileged, comfortable life, but even now, I have to admit, that I don't know, it's I wish it's not like this, but even me, I'm also kind of worried and afraid about especially about my own future, because of this, especially my financial economic problem, and I don't want to disclose more about my life, because it's kind of embarrassing, in a way, but basically, I'm now in a condition, situation, or life circumstances that, kind of like pressure force me to, that I have to do things that I don't want to do. Basically it's about work, it's about jobs, but aren't we all, aren't we all like this, like, how many of you watching this, for example, right now, that you just have to work like crazy, like every day, every single day, like from 9 to 5, from morning until night, evening, grinding, hustle, all this, today, nowadays, the trend, I don't know, and then flexing and all those kind of stuff, right? People keep doing all this work and job, just for, basically, the most important thing is for survival, right? So like every day, a lot of people, they are trapped, they're stuck at they're trapped, in they must work just for survival. Sometimes even, some people, they even have to work like 2 or 3 jobs, multiple jobs, just to sustain themselves, just to keep the roof over the head, some people have it much worse, right? Some people have it worse, right? Of course, because people's life are different, people's life are condition, situation, it's different, right? Life is not fair, right? Some people have it easy, and some people have it bad, like really, really bad, so even I'm now afraid, scared of my own future, for example. So like, why is life like this, right? When you think about it, like, I just chat with DeepSeek right now, a lot, I just think like this, have you ever think like this, like right now with our technology progress, especially with this whole like AI, AI thing, and then there is also the VR, right? Virtual reality, augmented reality, and then there is a possibility of maybe like, I don't know, like space travel or space probing, yeah, how to spell it, how to pronounce it, space probing, like we have all this, Voyager, Artemis, I think Artemis, just the just not long time ago, like not still recent, like we have all this technology and progress to make us think, to make us feel as if, oh, there are so much possibilities, so much wonders, excitement, out there, in life, life could be so much more, and then we have like science fiction, we have like movies, films, games, novels, books, artwork, music, and then games, and then anime, manga, light novels, whatever it is, fictions, right? Fantasy, sci-fi, science fiction, you know, things, you know, that tells us that as if that oh, you know, we could be living there, you know. Maybe I know a lot of people, you know, when they watch movie, when they watch film, you know, maybe they just simply like, oh, this is just for entertainment, just for escapism, you know, momentary escapism, temporary escape from reality, right? But you know, and then there are a few people like us, maybe, you know, when I watch movie, when I watch film, or when I play a good game, I used to be an avid gamer back in the PlayStation era, right? But now, you know, I just watch YouTube gameplay, you know, basically, you know. So you're it's like, you know what I mean, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're given a glimpse of all these possibilities, you know, possibilities, and then just like this, you know, you wake up to reality, you know, you wake up to reality. I'm sorry, my English is kind of bad, but you know what I'm talking about, right? You know, you understand what I'm trying to say, right? You get my point, right? And then we're crushed down, you know, like, hey, wake up to reality, you know, tomorrow you have to work, you know, you have to work from morning until night, you know, you have to make money, you have to survival, suck it up. Or if you're studying, you know, school, you know, university, school, class, you know, you have to study what you hate, you don't want to study, you know, just for some, I don't know, you know, some bureaucracy procedural things, you know, all this nonsense, this ridiculous nonsense, or BS, you know, BS, bullshits, sorry to say, you know. Yeah, I'm just being very honest, right? I'm just being real. So, like, why are we doing this, you know? Like, why life have to be like this? Have you ever think about this, or have you ever feel about this, you know, at the very least, you know? Because that's what I've been feeling, you know, that's what I've been thinking, you know? Like, it's crazy, you know, it's so crazy, you know, like, why, you know? By the way, I have to put a imani, right? So sorry, you know, just for a little bit, okay? It's crazy, you know, if you think about this, you know. I'm already arriving at the mall right now, so yeah. Okay.
Enjoy your time.
I continue again. You know, it's crazy when you think about it, you know, it's just ridiculous. It's absurd, so absurd, you know, like, and ironic. It's actually ironic. It's actually even tragic, you know, like, why life have to be, why is life like this, you know? Why? Like, why are we given like a glimpse of unlimited possibilities, right? The imaginations, you know, the possibilities, you know, the dreams, you know, the fantasy, you know, but then only to be, you know, only just to be crushed, you know, destroyed, you know, limited, very, very limited, you know, limited by reality, by real world, the real life, you know, like, oh, you cannot do that, you know, you cannot, you know, because, you know, life, you have to, instead you have to do this, you must do this, you must do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, we are not given many choices, right? Like I'm trying to find a parking, you know, right now. Have you ever thought about this, you know? Have you ever think about this, you know? Maybe you should be, you know, I think you should be, you know, a lot of people should actually, at the very least, at least minimal, at the minimum level, they should think, you know, they should already feel something like this, you know, like, why, yeah, why is life like this, you know? Why it can be the other way around, you know? Why? Like, it's so it's so stupid when you think about it, you know. It's stupid, you know, like there is like a gap, you know, a gap. Even philosopher have talked about this, you know. There is a gap, the absurd, you know, in absurdism, Albert Camus, the myth of Sisyphus, right? Even he talked about it, you know, the gap, you know, the gap between, you know, the what we as humans, we want to seek meaning, but instead, you know, we are living in different universe, right? In different universe existence, you know, where there is no meaning, you know, meaningless, right? If you want to talk deeper about it, you know, yeah, you know, so it's so stupid, you know, it's ridiculous when you think about it, you know, like it's so, in Camus word, it's absurd, right? I like that word, absurd, actually, but I don't agree with his conclusion, you know. It's toxic positivity. It's just a basically, you know, coping mechanism, you know. So, oh, here is a parking. I'm parking my car. So, yeah, guys and girls. I don't know if any of you, I'm parking right now. I'm sorry about this. I don't know if any of you have ever think or ever feel about this, you know, but I think you should, you know, somehow. I think you should somehow, you know. You should have already feel, you know, feel about this, you know. You should already feel about this. Sorry. Okay, I'm stopping the car. Yeah, let me just show my face for a little bit. I don't know if, you know, if anyone will ever found out about this my YouTube channel. Anyway, you know, this is kind of like a secret YouTube channel, you know, not my first YouTube channel, you know. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, let me just continue just a little bit more, okay? I hope, you know, hopefully. So let me turn off the air conditioner. Okay. You know, it's crazy, you know, when you think about it, you know, like what is this, you know, what is this life, you know, like, oh man, God. If there is a God, you know, like, why it have to be like this, you know? Why, you know? A lot of people, they probably just, you know, they don't think about it, you know. They just think, you know, it's useless to think about it, you know. It's useless. But it's the essential stuff, you know. It's the essential basic stuff, you know, about life, right? About existence. I cannot stop to think about it or feel about it, you know. This is, more people should think about it more, actually, you know. Should think about this more, I think, you know. Like, why the gap, why the discrepancy, why the gap, you know? It's like there is this gap, you know, that cannot be, you know, cannot be closed, you know. It's so frustrating, you know. Like, for example, let me go back again, you know, to my personal example, right? I'm trying to hold on. I'm drinking first. For example, like I've told you just previously, right, before, in the beginning, like, the reason I'm making this video is because I'm also stressed, to be very honest, you know, personally, you know. I don't want to tell you, I still don't want to disclose openly, you know, everything about my personal life, right? Maybe someday I will, you know, because, you know, I figure, you know, nobody probably see this YouTube channel anyway, unless if I'm you know, I don't know, some people might find it somehow, you know, about this YouTube channel. But for now, you know, it's mostly strange. Just some of you here watching this channel is just, you know, basically just strangers, right? But I really appreciate, deeply appreciate, especially when any of you commenting in this video. It really means a lot. Okay, I don't know you, you don't know me, but you know, I'm really thankful. You know, if at any time I see a comment or even just a like, you know, or a feel that it's not me myself, you know, repeatedly viewing my own video. I know it's anyway. Yeah, but so without disclosing my everything about me, everything about myself, right? Basically, right now, I just want to say that I'm in a situation, condition that, you know, in the position that, you know, no, there is a car that want to park. Okay, no, there is a condition, sorry. I'm in the situation where, you know, where, oh, there is a car. See, this is also another limitation about life, you know. This car, you know, it's just trying to force to park here, you know. Shit. See, life is so full of problem. Life is so full of problem, you know, fucking problems, you know. I'm sorry for my, you know, I'm kind of cussing, you know, which is bad, you know. I know. Look at this car. Anyway, I still don't know how to combine a video, you know, unfortunately, because, you know, otherwise, if I know how to combine this video, you know, maybe I will, you know, I will try to stop this video for now, and then, you know, I will combine, you know, the separate videos, you know. I don't know, you know, there is a, I hope there is no problem with this car, you know. I hate this life, you know. It's all only about this is also my point. It's only about problem after problem after problem, you know, even shit problems, you know, like we have to deal with it constantly, you know, whether we like it or not, you know, whether we want it or not, you know. We're being forced, you know, we're being pressured, you know. So, you know, yeah, this person, these people. Anyway, I might stop this video. Okay, sorry. You know, if you know, if there this problem comes, you know, hopefully not, you know. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You can fast forward this video if you want. You know. Life has so many problems, you know. Life has so many fucking problems. I'm sorry for again if I'm cussing this in this video, you know. I hate it, you know. Like even I have to admit, you know, even, oh, okay, now it's safe. I will continue. Sorry about that, and maybe I've wasted like 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes, you know. See, worrying about a problem that might happen, you know, but luckily, fortunately, no, you know, it's not. It's about the car parking and everything, you know. Sorry. See what I mean? This is what I mean, you know. Life, you know, it's full of problem and problem and problem. Every day we have to deal with, you know, with things that we don't like things that we don't want to do. Problem, you know, whether it's work, you know, whether it's, you know, errands, you know, some routines, you know, some family problem, relationship problems, you know, marriage, if you're married, marriage problem, you know, and then like kids problem, you know, things or parent problem, or, you know, anything, everything, or even ridiculous little shitty problems, right? I don't know, I'm just being spontaneous, but, you know, I forgot what is the word for this, you know. But, you know, you have to deal with it every day. And then while you can imagine, you can think, you can dream so much bigger than this, you know, so much bigger than all of this, you know, so much bigger than all of this shit, you know, to be very honest, you know. But you cannot, you just can, because you're limited, you know, you're limited, and you don't know how, you don't know how to even, you know, to even reach those possibilities, you know, those dreams, you know, those expectations, you know, those, you know, those vision, you know. If you have vision, you know, I'm an idealist myself, idealist. If you can guess probably by now, you know, that's why I'm just, you know, I'm just depressed, you know, basically, you know, with life, you know, because, you know, this life, you know, God, like, you're not free, you know. It's bullshit, you know. When people talk like, oh, you're free to do anything, no, we're not. How can you be, I mean, how can you be free, you know, when every day, you know, people have to think about like survival, you know, like they like, you know, they have to keep working, you know, to you know, how to say in English, get the breadcrumbs, I think, you know, just to scour some money, you know, or you know, try to put the food on the table, you know. Some people have it so much worse than mine, right? I admit, you know, a lot of people have it so much worse. Or if you're sick, I have, again, in my previous video I've talked about this, you know. I have a friend, you know, she's having like a chronic illness, chronic pain, you know, right? So it's really bad, you know. It's some people have it worse, yeah. Some people had it worse, you know. They have so much worse life, you know. So like how, you know, like you have all these problems, you know, like how can you be free to do what you want, dream, you know? I think people, I personally think, you know, people don't understand, people don't really think when they say all this stuff, you know, all these platitudes, you know, empty platitudes. I don't think people really know what they're talking about, you know. It's not that easy, it's not that simple, you know. Even in the most pragmatic, in the most realistic, I'm talking about the most realistic thing, you know, the most realistic possibility, you know, it's even not easy to close the gap, you know. There is still this problem, that problem, you know. I'm just talking broadly speaking here, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm just talking in general terms, but you know what I'm talking about, right? You know, I don't want to go into details, but you can see, you know, in any kind of life, you know, you might, unless if you're lucky, okay, which is, again, I've discussed about this in my previous video, you know. Life is not fair, you know. Again, I actually, in the beginning of this video, I talk about it, right? Life is not fair, you know. Some people have it good, you know. Some people are lucky, you know, for lack of a better words, you know. Some people are, you know, they're rich, you know, they don't have to worry about anything, you know. They're privileged, you know. I myself, I admit, you know, I come from a background of my quite a privileged family, but now, you know, to be very honest, you know, my life is keep going down and down, you know. I admit it's my fault too, you know. I'm a loser, I admit, you know. I don't have to disclose a lot of things about myself, right? Again, it's still a secret. Maybe someday, like I talked before previously, but not for now. But anyway, yeah, it's just sad, you know. It's just sad. Like, but I'm not even talking about myself, you know. I'm talking about many people even, you know, they're trapped, you know. They're stuck and they're trapped. Again, back to the topic, they're trapped in their own everyday reality, you know. Everyday reality. They're stuck and trapped. They cannot go out, you know, to reach all these, you know, all these dreams, you know, possibilities, you know, dreams, vision, ideas, idealism, you know, whatever, you know, whatever. It's like we're given a glimpse, we're given just a little glimpse, like what could really happen, you know, whether it's our personal life, or even if we want to talk about the bigger picture. Like my YouTube channel is all about talking about bigger picture always, right? The deepest level. At the deepest level is, you know, basically we're talking about like what, like humanity, mankind, civilization, you know. We could become like, you know, if any of you like watch like Star Trek, you know, Star Trek, it's very famous, right? Especially a long time ago. Star Trek, even Star Trek talking about the type 2 civilization. There is a type 1 civilization, things like this. Basically, are we heading toward that? Probably not. Maybe we might destroy ourselves, with our own stupidity, ignorance, and our what's the English word? Our stupidity, basically. Like with this whole AI thing, it might not. It's supposed to make things better, right? But maybe we just destroy ourselves. I don't know. It's shit. It's really really shitty. When you think deeply about this. Like why everything everything that we make, we create, it just turns back into a problem, against us. Like Thanos. You remember Thanos? I keep saying this, in all my previous videos. Thanos keeps saying reality is often disappointing. Yeah, reality is often disappointing. He's right. Yeah, ironically, even though he's a fiction character, right, in Marvel, Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. But he's right. It's a really 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 true, sad but true quote. Reality is often disappointing. That's why reality is limiting, very limited, very very limiting. It's bullshit when people, it's nonsense. A lot of normies, all these normal people, which I'm guessing, if you're watching this channel, probably, I don't know, maybe I don't know if there is any normies or normal people watching this YouTube channel. I'm not against you personally. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people in this world, most people, majority of people, they just don't know what they're talking about. They just keep saying, oh, we're free, we can do this, we can do that, nonsense, nonsensical. We're trapped within our own reality, circumstance, economical, financial, health issues, health problems, for example, and relationship, the relationship between humans, bureaucracy, procedural, all this, and even silly little things, that we have to deal with, every day, every fucking single little day, sorry. I'm just being real honest, just to make my point clear. Like we have all this imagination, dreams, fantasy, we create great fictions, we create great artwork, movies, games, films, novels, anime, manga, you name it, music, drawing, whatever, concepts, whatever, but visions, if you're a visionary, futurist, we don't know, we don't know, like Elon Musk, for example. Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk, Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk keeps speaking about, space travel and whatever it is, but I don't know. We don't know, like what's really going to happen, right? I mean, we don't know. Like maybe it could fail, everything that we imagine, it could fail miserably in reality, because hey, reality is often disappointing. Like Thanos said, that purple guy, he's right. He's right. It's just not a lot of people talk about this, they just turn into a meme jokes, back then. But what he's saying is really really true. It's really right, and it's actually really deep if you talk about it. It's obvious. I know it's kind of duh right? But it's also deep, if you think about it, like I've said, the philosophically it's an absurdism, absurd, it's just absurd, it's like it's a class. There is a discrepancy, between what should be versus what is, what's supposed to be, expectation versus reality, what is, reality is like this, you know. Our imagination is like this. Look at my hand, right? Watch my hand. Imagination is up here, you know. But then we are crushed. We are crushed. The reality is down here, right? Can you see the camera? Camera. See, reality is down here. So all our dreams, you know, our big, you know, if you're like me, you know, if you're an imagination creative type of person, right? I'm a musician myself, but you know, even though I'm a kind of failed musician, you know. Anyway, yeah. The imagination is crushed into reality, you know, lower down, level down, you know. And I'm not talking about the I'm not even talking about, you know, the most banal, mundane, those, you know, again, normal people keep saying, you know, oh, just be grateful, be thankful. Of course, yeah. I'm not saying that I'm not grateful. I'm grateful, thankful for still for now, good life. Even though I'm scared, even for a year from now, what's going to happen? Seriously, even in the previous video, if you watch, you know, I've talked about suicide. I'm serious. And I don't know if in real life people, you know, family, friends, if they've ever found this video, you know, they might probably confiscate. I don't know, is it the right English word? They might even, you know, send me to I don't know. This is not U.S., America, or European country, Western country, psychiatric treatment. You know, we don't have it here. You know, in my country yet. You know, but I don't know what they're going to do if they found about this video. You know, me talking about all this dark truth, dark reality. You know, dark topics. But yeah, I have to finish this video. It's almost 40 minutes. Basically, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I'm kind of lost my train of thoughts, you know, but you get my point, right? You know, the point is, you know, one of the many reasons that I hate life is because of this, you know, this unparalleled, you know, the unbridgeable gap between reality versus imagination. And we have to deal with all all these shits, you know, all these bullshits, you know, bull craps every single day, you know, problem after problem, you know. That's basically what our life is all about, right? See, now did you get my point? Isn't it that depressing? Like, I don't know why a lot of people are just in denial. I think, you know, people are just in denial. They don't want to admit the truth, you know. They just try to be optimistic, you know, be positive, you know. I mean, okay, if some people have a great life, some people have good life, I admit, you know, maybe even a lot of people, many people, but a lot of people also have they have a hard life, you know. They even have to, you know, like I've said before, like even financially, economically, you know, financially, you know, they're living in a hard life, you know. They have to, you know, grinding, you know, work, you know, like I've said, right? Just for survival, you know, just to put the food on the table, you know, just so they're not go hungry, you know. You know, even here in my country, yeah, I almost forgot. Even here in my country, you know, poverty, the poor, you know, there's still a lot of poor people, you know, like they're like literally, you know, they have to think like, you know, like what they're going to eat, you know, tomorrow, you know. It's sad, you know. It's sad, you know. It doesn't even take a genius, you know, to see about this, you know. You just have to wake up to reality. Just have a little bit of empathy, you know, just to see, you know, like, what is this life, you know. It's depressing, really, if you think about it, you know. even the life unfairness, like how some people have it good up there, you know, but a lot of people, you know, they live down here, you know, they live, you know, in the poverty, poor, or struggling, you know, struggling, what I forget the English word, you know, struggling to make the ends meet, I think, barely above the water, you know, just barely surviving or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I still even haven't talked about the other problems, right? Like, this is life, you know, this is what life is all about, you know. It's reality. It's reality, you know. I mean, I wish life could be so much more than this, you know. I wish. But apparently, you know, that's not how it works, you know. That's not how life is, you know. A lot of us feel stuck and trapped, right? A lot of you watching this channel, maybe you could relate somehow, even just a little bit. You could probably relate, you know, like, oh man, you know, like, oh God, you know, life is not supposed to be like this, you know. My life is not supposed to be like this. Your life is not supposed to be like, you know, like this, you know. There should be, it's supposed to be so much more, you know, than this, you know. But what to do, you know? Reality is often disappointing. Reality is limiting. I've talked about this, right? Reality is so limiting down here, you know. It's so depressing if you think about it, you know. Like, our human consciousness, we can think, we can dream, you know, bigger, but then only to be, you know, crushed down, you know, to this fucking shit everyday reality, you know, real life, real world, you know. Now you know what I'm talking about, right? Sorry for the swearing, for the cursing words. Just, I'm trying to make a point, my final point. You know what I'm talking about, right? Don't you find it frustrating? Don't you find it depressing? I don't even know, like, how people can still, you know, spin it somehow into, you know, a positive, optimistic mindset, you know. I cannot, you know. I cannot. I mean, I distract myself too, you know. I escape, you know. I have entertainment and, you know, whatnot, you know, all these things, you know. But still, you know, the main problem is still there. The main problem is still there. The main problem of existence, you know, it's still there. Even I would say the philosophical, the existential problem is still there, you know, the deeper problem of existence, of life, you know. Of the human's condition, you know, human's consciousness, whatever you want to say it, you know. You know what I'm talking about, right? The point is the same. I think I have to stop the video for now. Okay. So yeah, let me know what you think, if any of you are watching this video, hopefully. You know, please let me know what you think about this, you know, quote unquote, the reality versus imagination dilemma, problem, right? The human problem, as far as we know, right? Like, what do you think? What do you feel? What do you feel? What do you think, you know, about all of this, you know? Let's talk deeper. Let's discuss deeper. Okay. I've been chatting with a lot of deep stuff like this with AI because I have no one to talk, you know, about these kind of things, you know. I just cannot, you know. You know, human beings, they'll probably just judge me, you know, as weird, useless, you know, pathetic, you know, loser, whatever, waste of time, you know, wasting time, you know, not productive, you know. I hate those shits, you know, especially in today's era, you know. But if any of you watching this video, you know, this YouTube channel, I'm talking about the deeper and bigger things, you know, the bigger picture, the deepest things about life, you know, about existence, you know, about everything basically. So okay, I have to stop here for now. See, I'm in a parking lot. Let me just rotate my camera. See, in a parking lot in a mall, shopping mall. I'm inside my car. Okay, so yeah, I have to stop the video for now. Thank you everyone for watching so far. If even any 1 or 2 person watching this, will be very glad, very deeply appreciate even if you can comment or even just press a like, but the like button, you know, click the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really means a lot, you know. That's all I'm asking, you know, because at least I know that I'm not alone, you know. At least I could relate to another human beings, you know, about all of this, what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, you know, this deeper stuff, you know, deep talk, you know, deep topic, whatever, you know. Okay, anyway, thank you guys all for watching. Take care as always. I'll see you next time again. Okay, bye bye.